Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your December 2017 general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and welcome to any newcomers who may be here for the first time. Thank you always for your likes, your shares, your subscribes, your support and feedback and comments. They're brilliant. You guys are brilliant. Keep them coming. And thank you for taking the time for that and for following my YouTube channel or just popping in from time to time and visiting. Always a big thank you to those of you who continue to keep me so busy and occupied and fulfilled in doing personal one-on-one readings, both my new clients and my regular ones as well. It's always an honor and a pleasure to read for you. Thank you for the opportunity for that. And if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can click on the About button on my YouTube channel's homepage for more information and my contact information. You'll also find my contact information attached to the description of every video that I post. You can reach me through email at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. Something just popped up on my screen. Let me get rid of it. And for those of you who are looking for just quick answers to quick questions, you can also find me on the smartphone app, Instantgo. They have a new video chat option now, which is kind of cool. That's a 24/7 app, except when I'm sleeping, of course. It's not for the deep, more complex readings or specific charts and spreads that I do, that I offer traditionally live or recorded, but it's just if you have a quick decision you need to make on the go, you need to take a quick look at something or someone, so you can find me there. And the links to those, again, you can find on the About button or attached to the description of every video that I do. For the traditional personal one-on-one readings, turnaround time is usually pretty fast. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do. I can always get back with you within the same day or 24 hours of your first contact with more information. And scheduling personal readings live or recorded, since I do them full-time, is pretty fast as well. It can be anywhere from a few days upwards of 2 weeks, but almost always within a 2-week period of time we can schedule a reading for you. I do a wide variety of them: love and romance, compatibility charting, 6 and 12-month overviews, monthly packages for regular ongoing readings, career, work, and finance, channeled messages, relationship potentials, things of that sort. And also, we are approaching the Christmas holidays, and if you have friends and families that you can't think of anything to give them, there's nothing more personal than a personal reading, so gift readings are also available as well. You can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com for those, and I'd be most happy to work with you and set up a reading as quickly as possible. So moving right along, these are general readings. There's many of you watching. That's why we always suggest that you watch your rising and your moon sign videos as well. They may play out a little more predictively for you or just give you additional insight and clarity. So try to watch all three if you know them and if you can. This reading is for Aquarius. The air sign of Aquarius, our lovely water bearers for the month of December 2017. Let's see what's in store for our Aquarians for December 2017. Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, we begin with the Two of Wands, followed by the Seven of Pentacles. We have the Five of Pentacles, followed by the Seven of Wands. We have the Five of Swords, followed by the Eight of Cups. And we have the Three of Cups, followed by the Ace of Swords. That's lovely. Towards the end of the month. And then from the bottom of the deck, representing your overall energy for the month of December 2017 and guidance and advice, we have the Hanging Man. 2 cards for each week, which I typically do for the beginning of the month readings to cover the general energy for overall, with an additional 9th card from the bottom of the deck representing crowning card. Let me just take a look at this, Aquarius. You're about the 4th sign I've done so far for December, and there seems to be so far kind of a general theme, although the specifics and details vary, of course, because there's so many of you watching. Some of you, it may resonate in one area of your life. Some of you, it may resonate in the other. But the energy fundamentally remains the same, even though the details and specifics may vary. There's this I think there's some variation so far I've noticed of a quieter internal reflection or change month, and taking time, being patient too, because I've had the Hanging Man in every single one of them so far. That's your overall energy, and I'm actually going to start with that. Your crowning card from the bottom of the deck is the Major Arcana card of the Hanging Man. Now, the Hanging Man can represent feeling like you're in stasis, you're in limbo, feeling like there's no movement, either generally overall or in a specific area of your life that you're wanting movement with. It can feel like things aren't moving when you want them to move. The Hanging Man, as advice, also represents being at peace with the situation the way it is, or decision you may have made. It can represent withdrawing from conflict and letting things play out. But it's really about not fighting against the flow of something, understanding that it's temporary and it will pass. And even if it feels like there's no current movement, that there always is movement, even if it doesn't reflect right away at the speed at which we want. Sometimes we can be very impatient as human beings. The Hanging Man can represent, so for the month of December, some of you may just feel like there's no movement in an arena that you want movement on. When I first laid the cards out, I got the first kind of impression that I got, that I was feeling, is that for some of you, there's a strong connection to work and career, or a job of some kind, a career path of some kind. For others of you, right on the heels of that, I got that this is in a relationship of some kind, whether it's love and romance, or another relationship, even a friendship, or even a family relationship, that you're waiting for something to change, or you're wondering if you should continue investing in it, that you've maybe been fighting and putting a lot of effort into holding on to something that might not be working for you. First, I got work and career and job, but the second thing I got was relationship. So it's going to reflect differently for, depending on who's watching, what's in your natal chart, etc. But the energy remains the same regardless of what arena of your life it reflects in. I think for some of you, it can feel like, you're waiting for something, or you're wanting something to change, or waiting for something to change, or waiting for something, and it just feels like that's all you're doing is waiting. The advice that's attached with the Hanging Man, whether you're on one side of this or the other, regardless of what arena of your life this may be playing out in, there is a certain amount of patience attached to this, and actually trust in divine guidance, because there's a certain amount of divine timing and orchestration. The Hanging Man can be withdrawing, even though you may be wanting to involve yourself, especially if there's a conflict, which includes other people, withdrawing and letting things play out in the manner in which they're designed to. Divine timing and orchestration, not rushing in and trying to control things or affect changes that you're waiting for. And I've gotten that same kind of general undercurrent of energy for all the signs I've done so far. You're the fourth one, about taking a step back and letting things unfold and play out in the manner that's supposed to, without throwing yourself right in the middle of it, trying to rearrange things or control things or make the changes, even if they're changes you're waiting to happen. Just letting things play out, but taking time during the month of December to kind of reflect, whether it's job and career, whether it's relationship, or even a spiritual path. We have the Two of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles at the end of November going into December. I am recording these in the last week of November. The Two of Wands is fire energy, which in the tarot is the energy of creativity, of manifesting, building. It's very active, fluid, forward-moving energy. The Two of Wands is about trying to choose a path, trying to make a decision on where you go from here. And the key is in long-term thinking and planning. We're early on in this on a path here. We're only at the two, and this man is standing at a crossroads. He's trying to figure out which path to take. The key is in looking ahead and not necessarily looking around at what looks best right now. But if you're doing that, looking at, does this move me further, closer to my long-term goals? In order to know which path to choose, you need to know or have a good idea of what your destination is, what you want. And job, work, and career, if you're not satisfied or fulfilled in the job that you're at or the career path that you're on, if you feel like there's no movement, you're investing all this time and energy and nothing's happening, you may want to take a look at reevaluating your long-term goals. Did you make the right decisions? And if so, do you want to maybe reevaluate or tweak or change your long-term goals, or maybe make some different long-term goals? If you're, not really sure where you're going, it's impossible to choose a path, because however you start walking, you're just going to kind of meander around. This is about looking ahead and setting long-term goals, or perhaps looking and reflecting and evaluating what your long-term goals up to now have been, because it's paired with the Seven of Pentacles. Pentacles is earth energy, and in the tarot, this energy usually often manifests in the earthly, tangible part of our life, usually in practical ways or ways that we can see and touch and feel. It can often manifest in things like money, finances, job, career, real estate, property, you know, those tangible things in the concrete world we live in. 7 is a number of reflection, motives, assessment. So the 7 of Pentacles is a card of reflection and assessment. It's harvest time on this card. This woman has put in the effort. She planted the seed, she grew the tree, she nurtured it along, the fruit is grown and it's ripe and it's ready to be picked. It's harvest time. She hasn't yet started though. She's ready, but she's taking a look to see where she's at. Did she get the kind of crop she wanted? It's about kind of looking at what you have, whether if this is career or job, where are you at in your job? It looks like there's been some harvest and it looks pretty decent, but is it what you wanted? Have you gotten back, have your efforts paid off? Have you gotten what you wanted? Did you at least break even? Did you get more? Did you get less? It's about taking a look at what you have in whatever sector of your life this is reflecting in. How do you feel about it? Is it worth continuing? Should she pick this crop and continue with the same one? Should she make some changes? Should she just pick it and leave and plant something different, go somewhere else, you know, differently? It's a question of taking a look and evaluating what you have, whether it's in career, work, and finance, or whether it's a relationship perhaps you've been investing in, because it feels like for you, you may be feeling like you're in this stuck kind of blah, putting one foot in front of the other, that there's no changes, that nothing is happening the way that you want it to, or that you're just kind of stuck. For some of you, this is going to be in a relationship, and the nature of that relationship is going to vary depending on who's watching. Some of you, because it's the first energy I got, is it's either in a job or a career path of some kind. It could be a project that you've been investing in, something kind of important in your life. And there's this sense at the end of November going into December, what do I really have? Is it really worth continuing to put all this time, effort, love, whatever, time, dedication, finances into? Is what I'm getting back worth the effort that I'm putting in? And if not, it's maybe about reflecting on long-term goals. Do I keep them? Do I change them? What do I do based on how you feel, what you have right now? Because it feels like maybe you're hanging on to something which isn't working or isn't satisfying for you, because next we have the 5 of Pentacles and the 7 of Wands. So the 5 of Pentacles is a card fundamentally of insufficiency and lack. And career, work, and finances, it can represent, you know, it could represent losing your job, not having a job, or working a job and not having enough money, you know, robbing Peter to pay Paul, financial restrictions abound. In a financial and material sense, it represents, you know, not having what you need. On an emotional level in relationships, it can represent, again, insufficiency and lack. Feeling maybe rejected, abandoned on the outside, not good enough, like no matter what you do, it's just not, you know, it's just not enough. It can also sometimes in relationships represent that you're not seeing, that you're passing up somebody that may be showing interest in you, somebody that's really, you know, has a lot of wonderful qualities, but you may be passing them up because it's not exactly what you were looking for. There is that doesn't come up too often for me with this card, but it does sometimes, because this couple is obviously in need. And in other tarot decks, they're sometimes outside in the rain or the snow. You know, they kind of like this, either homeless or being in need. And this cathedral window, or something that looks like a cathedral window, this golden light shining out, represents that there's help there, there's resources, there's something beautiful there to take advantage of. If you would just look at it a little harder, if it's a person, if it's a relationship, it could represent one worth salvaging, or that an answer, solution, or help is there. In job, work, and career, it may represent that there may be an answer, solution closer than you think. But again, fundamentally, it often represents insufficiency and lack, either financially, in your job, in your career, or in a relationship as well. Because again, it's going to play out differently, because this is a general reading and there's, you know, thousands of you watching. The 5 of Pentacles is paired with the 7 of Wands. This is defensive energy. It's a card of standing by something that you believe strongly in, or something that you've worked hard to build up because of what you've invested in or how strongly you believe in it. It could represent standing up for yourself or someone else. You can see that's what this man is doing. He's standing in front of the door to his home, his castle, his keep, whatever it is that's important to you. It could be a relationship, a job, work, career, something. And you're emotionally invested in it because you've put in so much, and you feel like it's, you know, being threatened or challenged somehow. It's a card about defending, holding on to something. Again, in job, work, and career, it could be that you're holding on to a career path or a job that you may be putting a lot of work into, but it feels like there's no movement, or it's not enough, or you're not getting where you really want to go in terms of long-term goals. But there's still this sense of kind of holding on to it or defending it. It may be that you go through these changes in the month of December, and you may start out the month feeling like, taking a look at that. Because there's a sense ultimately underneath this whole thing, Aquarius, of feeling like something isn't going where you want it to go, or it doesn't look like there's any progress, whether that's job, whether that's a relationship. It's not enough somehow. You may be fighting to hold on to it, keeping investing energy in it, or it could be, if it's a relationship, it could be other person that's kind of fighting to hold on to it. But you're taking a look at whether or not this is something you want to continue in or not. Next, we have, it's kind of underscored in these next two cards, the Five of Swords and the Eight of Cups. The Five of Swords is air energy, and in the tarot, this is energy that's kind of about what goes on up in our heads. Air energy is the mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. It's about our thoughts, how we look at things, our outlook, our perspectives, our perceptions, our belief systems, how we think, and how that affects the way that we relate and communicate with the world, with other people. Communication, words, ideas. It can also represent truth, illumination, clarity, learning, higher education, mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. That's usually what it manifests as in the tarot. The Five of Swords is a card technically of victory, and I always say technically because sometimes it can represent a shallow victory. Sometimes in work and career, it can represent getting ahead at the expense of maybe stepping on other people along the way, or it just really costing a lot, taking a great deal out of you for not as much reward as you would like. In relationships, it can represent investing a lot in relationships, or maybe having small wins and conflicts in relationships. But is it really worth it? Because the question that comes usually accompanies the Five of Swords is something worth it? You can see that the man on this card has achieved a victory. He's won over his opponents, his foes, his enemies, or a challenge of some kind. He's gathered up all their weapons and he's holding his own in victory. But it's not a particularly victorious looking card. The colors are kind of bleak. He looks tired, worn out, exhausted. He's bleeding from a little cut on his forehead. This battle has cost a lot. Is it worth it? Is it worth continuing? Is it worth what you have? Is the effort you've put into it worth what you have, or worth what you've had to give up or sacrifice for it? Sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes no. It just depends on the situation and the person. But again, there's this strong energy of, is this worth it? Is continuing in this worth it? Or should I walk away? I mean, I'm okay, I've got this and I've got that, but it's taking so much out of me, and it may be costing so much as well, whether it's work or whether it's relationship. Should I leave it behind because ultimately it's not what I want? It's not taking me where I want. It's disappointing, it's disillusioning, or it's turned out differently than what I wanted it to, in spite of the fact that it may look on the outside like, I still have I have what I need. Because the Five of Swords is accompanied by the Eight of Cups. So we have emotional energy here. Cups, the element that rules this, is water. And in the tarot, the energy of the suit of cups, this watery energy, is about emotions, feelings, and relationships. The Eight of Cups is a card about walking away, definitively making up your mind to turn your back on something and walk away from whatever it is these cups represent. Some of them are tipped over and spilled out. Some of them are upright. The implication being that he has tasted and drunk from most, if not all, of these cups. But at the end of the day, it's not what he thought it was going to be. It's not what he wants. It's not ultimately, there's a sense of disappointment, disillusionment, dissatisfaction with whatever these cups represent. So he's made up his mind to turn his back and walk away and seek out something else. He's surveying the horizon. He's dressed for travel. He's turned his back. He's ready to go. He may not be entirely certain of where he's going, and you may not be, and that you may have to think about long-term goals and maybe reevaluating that because it looks like you're fighting to hold on to something that isn't working for you. For a very few of you, it may be needing to hold on to something that, you know what, I can't really say that because I'm not feeling that. I feel like for the majority of you, you're fighting to hold on to something that's taking a lot of effort, that's costing a lot, but it just doesn't seem to be going where you need it to go, want it to go. There's no sense of joy or fulfillment in it, or there isn't anymore. But at or toward, so the overall advice, I mean, it's not all gloom and doom, and we're in the holidays here, so enjoy them. It looks like there's opportunities. You end the month beautifully with the Three of Cups as well. But there is a sense in some area of your life, it's like, oh, is it always going to be like this? And I'm always going to, but the advice here, which is always positive, is that December is a month of reflection, and don't get too dragged down to it. Just like with the other few that I've done before you, there may be a tendency, sometimes the holidays can be difficult emotionally as well too. It can make challenging things or low times seem magnified. So don't fall into that if during the month of December, with whatever the situation represents in your life, you may have a feeling you may have a tendency or a temptation to overfocus on or to dwell only on the negative. There's plenty of positive here. Spirit is asking you to kind of take this month to kind of reflect, not obsess though, just reflect on, okay, if I'm not happy, it looks like you're investing in something which may not be working for you anymore, but don't make any spontaneous or impulsive decisions. They want you to take the month of December to kind of look at what you have versus what you've put into it. Is it moving you towards whatever your long-term goal is in this area? Do you even know what your long-term goal is? If not, you need to set that so you can move in a more definitive manner and make a decision if the path that you're on now is actually even taking you towards that long-term goal. And how do you know what it is if you don't have a definite one set? Because it looks like you're kind of running in place to get somewhere, but you're actually just running in place, but you're expending a lot of energy doing it, and you're feeling frustrated and low. So reflect on that, dwell on that, and start to kind of make a plan moving forward. Nothing spontaneous or impulsive. And again, reflect does not mean obsess. Be reasonable, be good to yourself, live your life. It's the holiday season too. Take advantage of that. It looks like there's going to be opportunities too, because at or towards the end of December 2017, we have the Three of Cups and the Ace of Swords. Strong social energy with the Three of Cups, as you can see. It's sometimes referred to as the party card, though of course it has a much deeper significance than that. It really is about, it's about getting out, enjoying your time, maybe having some parties and celebrations. Again, we're just heading into December. There's Christmas, there's New Year's parties or celebration. This is about enjoying yourself, doing all of that, being with other people that you enjoy being with, that you connect well with, celebrating. Very good, joyous energy. And it can be like that sisterhood, brotherhood, kinship, friendship energy as well. And it's paired with the Ace of Swords, so more of that cerebral air energy here. Aces represent new beginnings. So the Ace of Swords, new beginnings or new opportunities that hold a lot of potential if they're nurtured. I always say that aces are like seeds. They contain a lot of potential, but they have to be planted at the right time in the right ground and watered, nurtured, taken care of so that they can manifest to their full potential. Otherwise, aces can fizzle out as ideas or things which never get acted on or carried through with. So this is mental cerebral energy and a new beginning or opportunity. So the Ace of Swords can represent a new perspective, a fresh new way of looking at something, your epiphany, your aha moment, the light bulb going off over your head, seeing something come in and illuminating and clarifying what you didn't have before. It's generally considered a card of success because it cuts away extraneous fantasy and illusion and exposes and illuminates something in its reality for what it absolutely is, which provides an opportunity to go, oh, I'm seeing this, and having something, just having a different perspective, new ideas, seeing something in a different and new light, but very realistic at the same time. So it may be that you spend a lot of December, you're being asked to kind of reflect and obsess. Don't get down, don't get obsessive about it. And also this connection with the Three of Cups, it feels kind of like at the end of December, Aquarius, you could be seeing something or have come to a decision at the end of the month, seeing something in reality the way that it is. You may be making decisions and actually having a new start, a new beginning. Some of you may be even at the start of a new path of learning. You may be going back to school or learning something new, or you've made a decision to veer off the path that you're on particularly if it's a job or a career path, and you're celebrating that as well. It also could be that this new perspective and new beginning could have a connection with close friends of yours or your friends, your social network, because the Three of Cups is about your community as well and reaching out to that community and enjoying that and being in that community. It could be that there's some connection with that that helps bring you to this point of clarity and new, fresh perspective as well. It could be that that's what is the thing which kind of illuminates you and makes it clear for you and makes your path clear as well. Either way you look at it, however it resonates for you in whatever area of your life this is resonating in, at the end of the month, the energy is absolutely beautiful. And it's joyous because it's like you're seeing it the way that you need to see it, and you're starting off fresh, and there's a celebratory energy, a sense of friendship, community, lots of support around you as well. So don't get caught up in that hanging man energy. Remember, it's about reflecting, being patient, even if it's difficult, letting things play out. It looks like whatever clarification and illumination you need and answers and solutions, I think if you take the time to kind of let things play out and stop fighting, defending, holding on so much, but maybe pull back and kind of take a look at things, it's going to come to you at the end of the month. And it looks like you have a lot around you, particularly in support from community, family, friends as well. Beautiful reading, Aquarius. Happy to bring it to you. So that pretty much sums up your December 2017 reading. I hope you've enjoyed it, Aquarius. I hope that it's been helpful to you in some way, because that's really why we do these. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading, you can click on the About button on my YouTube channel's homepage for more information and my contact info. You can also find that contact info attached to the description of every video I post. Email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I will get back with you within the same day of contact, and I would be most delighted to work with you. I offer a wide variety of readings, and also gift readings are pretty big this time of year as Christmas presents for friends and families. Nothing is as personal as a personal reading. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo 24/7. Unless I'm sleeping, of course. I can usually get back to you very quickly on that. It's not for the complex, in-depth readings. It's more for quick answers and questions. They have a new video chat option as well, which is kind of cool. If you have a decision you need to make on the fly or something or someone you want to look at really quickly, that's a good way of getting a short little read via text or using the video chat option as well. It's a pretty cool new app in our electronically savvy age nowadays. So anyway, I look forward to hearing from you for those of you who are interested. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the December mid-month general readings. Until then, as always, Aquarius, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.